And of course, we're talking about the Israelite kings of the houses of Judah, Zerah and Phares.
Well, absolutely. We're talking about the dispersion of Israel.
Right.
And
right.
Paul knew that the nations that he went to were all dispersed Israelites.
Yes.
And his letters prove it over again and again.
Yes. So that the universalists who want to interpret this phrase the way it has been translated, and you could say it like this: to bear my name before the nations, which Gentiles they assume means non-Israelites.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And kings, which is another separate group, whoever they might be, and the children of Israel, as if the first two were different from the latter.
Right, but the grammatical construction is called a hendiatrisin, and it means one by means of three. It means that all three of these entities being mentioned are actually the same. The nations and the kings of the sons of Israel is the literal reading.
Yes. Okay, very good. Well, let me finish with verse 16. For I will show him how great things he must suffer for my name's sake. So for the Paul bashers, these two verses, 15 and 16, are very succinctly declaring that Paul is a chosen vessel.
Absolutely. The Paul bashers are doing us a great disservice.
Yes.
Because these verses not only do that, they prove that Christianity is for only
right.
the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Right, because of the bad translation, the universalists have chosen to universalize it, and the Paul bashers agree with them, not understanding the grammar here.
Well, the Paul bashers' biggest mistake is simply taking for granted that the mainstream translators translated all this properly.
Right, absolutely.
All right, Shalom. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring, the house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakak Wadash, and I pray that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. All right. And before I get into this lesson here, I wanted to read this brief blog here. All right. And I wanted to speak on, Paul's authority and his very vital position or role in this ministry. All right. Because you got bug out Israelite groups out there that are rejecting Paul's authority, his writings. Okay, the New Testament, it's a lot of madness going on in these last days, but the Lord warned us about this, that false prophets would arise, right? Let me get that real quick. All right, this is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. It says, the rise of false prophets. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1, it says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there should be false teachers among you, right? Apostle Paul's on trial, all right? He didn't have authority. Is the New Testament valid? All right. It's a lot of bullshit going on, It says, even as there should be false teachers among you who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, right? The fact that you're pushing that Paul wasn't a man of the Lord, he wasn't set up, and, the New Testament, questioning the New Testament, and, all of this stuff that we've been hearing. All right. These are all damnable heresies. It says, even denying the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, that brought them. You even got guys playing with the name of the Lord. Denying Yahweh Shah, we deal directly with Yahweh, All of this just madness. It says, even denying the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. That's what's about to happen to a lot of these false prophets, agents, and hirelings, okay, that are manipulating the scriptures, that are giving false prophecies. It says, and many shall follow their pernicious ways. Yeah, many people are following these false prophets, right? It says, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of, right? So getting back, just making a point. Let's read this real quick. It says, what are some good arguments for the Apostle Paul's authority? All right, just want to read this brief paragraph here. So it says, Paul makes arguments for his authority in 1st and 2nd Corinthians. this is exactly what Paul was dealing with in his own day, right? And the same thing is going on in these days, right? Was Paul really given authority? Was he really a man of the Lord? Is his writings valid? You know, it says his apostolic authority was challenged, right? We don't have to come to the 21st century. We can stick in the 40s and 50s. It says, what you find is Paul saying, you're right, I'm not the guy, and this is not because of me, but because of my apostolic position. I speak for God, and that's why you have to follow this. If you get into 1st and 2nd Corinthians, you're going to see what Paul appeals to. He doesn't appeal to his wisdom. He doesn't appeal to his cunning. He doesn't appeal to his literary artifice. Rather, he appeals to the fact that he is sent by God, that he is the mouthpiece for God, and that he speaks on God's authority. Exactly. Okay, because the Apostle Paul was set up directly by Yahushua, man. Okay, it says Paul is an apostle called by the Most High. That is his authority, you see? And like the elder brothers were saying, if you have a problem with Apostle Paul, you essentially have a problem with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. Okay? It says it's very fascinating that this question will come up because you see it in Paul. He doesn't write on his own authority. He writes on God's authority, right? He was set up directly by Yahushua himself. And that's why, as we saw in the beginning of this lesson, the intro, all right, Paul's position, his role in this ministry was vital, man. Okay? He was set up to reach the Gentiles, all right, which are the Israelite foreigners. Okay? And that can't be downplayed, man. All right? The simple fact is that you have various Israelite groups out there that are just simply bugging out, man. All right? It is what it is. All right? So getting into this thing, I just want to grab a few scriptures. All right? Just first of all, dealing with Paul's authority, right? So this is Galatians 1:11. It says, Paul defends his ministry, right? So let's read this. It says, Galatians 1:11, it says, but I certify you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. For I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. All right? So Yahushua dealt directly with the Apostle Paul. Okay? Yahushua set him up, all right, to be a minister unto the uncircumcised, the uncircumcision, the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners that were scattered amongst these various lands. And this is why I have this image here. All right, the map of Paul's missionary journeys. All right, so all these places that Paul went to, all right, he went to forward the gospel to the Israelites that were scattered amongst these various lands. All right, the Galatians, the Corinthians, the Romans, these were all Israelites that needed to hear the word that were amongst these various lands, man. All right, so he was given the authority by Yahushua, and his role was crucial, man. Okay, so what are these Israelite groups talking about, man? It says, verse 13, for you have heard of my conversion in times past in the Jews' religion, how that beyond measure I persecuted the church of God and wasted it, right? Because Paul, all right, before his name was changed to Paul, he was Saul, and he was persecuting Israelites. He was putting Israelites to death, right? But through the mercy of the Lord, he was called to be. His role was crucial, man. He was called to be a minister unto the uncircumcised, the uncircumcision, man. He was set up by Yahushua himself. It says, verse 14, and profited in the Jews' religion above many my equals in my own nation, being more exceedingly zealous of my traditions of my fathers. But when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, right? Just like how we were, all right? Just like how it was mentioned also, let me get that in Jeremiah, right? Quick precept, all right? That's Jeremiah. Just as Apostle Paul was called, all right? It's quick precept, just like Jeremiah. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 5, and it reads, it says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, right? So Jeremiah was already chosen to be a prophet, all right, before he was even born on the earth, you know? And we were in that same position. We were just like Apostle Paul, you know, we were used as vessels to bring back our people, to push this word, right? Jeremiah 1 and 5, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. You see? Let's go back. Galatians 1 and 15, and it reads, it says, but when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace, to reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen, all right? And who's among the heathen? The Israelite foreigners, okay? Immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood, neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me, but I went into Arabia and returned again unto Damascus, all right? Let me just read this in the, those first couple of verses in the NIV, right? I believe that's what it was, NIV. Galatians 1 and 11 again. All right, Galatians 1:11 NIV, it says, I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that the gospel I preach is not of human origin. I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it. Rather, I received it by the revelation from Yahushua HaMashiach. All right, so Yahushua, as I said, he set up Paul, Apostle Paul. Authority was given to him by Yahushua himself, man. All right? What's wrong with these other Israelite camps, man? You know? That's why the scriptures say this. Let me get this too. All right? This is what Peter said. This 2 Peter 3 and 5, it says, and in account that long suffering of our Lord, Yahweh Shemawashai, is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul also, according to the wisdom given unto him, have written unto you. Right? So Peter was acknowledging his position, his authority. Verse 16, it says, as also in all his epistles, speaking in them of these things, in which are some things are hard, in which are some things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrest, as they do also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. Yeah, and that's these bug outs that are talking about, you know, that are questioning Paul's authority. Is he a man of the Lord? Is the New Testament valid? Is his writings valid? All right. They're unlearned and unstable. All right. And they wrestle the scriptures to their own destruction. Okay. Because these guys weren't really called by the Lord, man. The spirit of Yahweh Shemawashai essentially is not supping with them. You know? So anyway, Galatians chapter 2, straight to the point. This is Galatians 2 and 7. And it reads, it says, on the contrary, they recognize that I have been entrusted with the task of preaching the gospel, all right, the authority, which was given to him by Yahushua, to the uncircumcised. Who was that? The Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners. Just as Peter had been to the circumcised, the Jews. Verse 8. For Yahweh Shemawashah, who was at work in Peter as an apostle to the circumcised, was also at work in me as an apostle to the Gentiles, all right? The Israelite foreigners. And his role, okay, dealing with the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, was vital, man. Okay, as you heard in the video of the so-called Edomite scholars breaking it down, you know, these epistles, his ministry was directed to the Israelites that were scattered amongst these lands. Okay? Israelite foreigners. Right? It says, verse 9, it says, James, Cephas, and John, those esteemed as pillars, gave me and Barnabas the right hand of fellowship when they recognized the grace given to me. See? They agreed that we should go to the Gentiles and they to the circumcised. Right? All they asked was that we should continue to remember the poor, the very thing that I have been eager to do all along. Right, there you go. Right, let me get this too. Right, I just want to get a few scriptures. All right, there's no way you can try to dismiss, the authority that was given to Paul, in his position in the ministry, man. So let's just give the account, all right, when he was on trial with King Agrippa. He gives you he's giving him a summary of the testimony of Paul on how it all went down, right? Acts 26, let's just go there. All right, Paul's defense before Agrippa. All right, let's go to this one, straight to the point. All right, this is Acts 26. All right, giving the account of his testimony and the authority that was given to him. All right, this is Acts 26 and 14. It says, and when we were fallen to the earth, and remember Paul's on trial here before King Agrippa, right? So it says Acts 26 and 14, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. All right, this is Yahushua speaking to Paul. All right, because remember, he was blinded. It says, and I said, who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Yahushua, whom thou persecutest. Verse 16, but rise and stand up upon thy feet, for I have appeared unto thee for this purpose, to make thee a minister and a witness both of these things which thou hast seen, and of those things in the which I will appear unto thee. Verse 17, delivering thee from the people and from the Gentiles, unto whom now I send thee. You see that? So Yahushua was the one that gave Paul his authority, man. Okay? To be a minister unto the Gentiles, to the Israelite foreigners. Okay? Verse 18, to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light and from the power of Satan unto Yahweh, that they might receive forgiveness of sins and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me. And just like how Yahushua opened up Paul's eyes, all right, he was sent to do the same thing for those Gentiles, man. To bring them back. Okay? So as I said, his role was vital, man. And it can't be downplayed, it can't be overlooked. So like the question I posed, what are these guys talking about, man? It's a lot of Jakes bugging out. But that's pretty much the point there. I just wanted to bring that out, just giving my 2 cents in on his authority and his position. His authority was given to him directly by Yahushua himself. So I pray that this quick lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring. Shalom.